welcome to Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today we have a beautiful guest with us, and it's Sally Green from Action Takers Publishing. So, welcome, Sally, to our beautiful podcast. So happy to have you here.
I'm excited to be here and to share a little bit of my story.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So let's jump right into it. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming book, The Ripple Effect of Impact. And so I have a few questions here for Sally. So let's get to it. So, Sally, can you share with us a little bit about you, your background, and then tell us what inspired you to write for The Ripple Effect of Impact, please?
Yeah, sure. So my whole journey in writing and being part of these books started in 2020 when I said yes to my first collaboration book, and that led to another, led to another. I think Eva, you can relate to that. And now I've been in 22 of them, and I work for the publishing company. I just loved being part of this, and I'd always wanted to be a writer. And so this was right in my wheelhouse. And so saying yes to being part of Ripple Effect was just came naturally for me, and it was just part of of my story. And I loved the story that I shared in the book.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And what is the core message you hope your readers will take away from reading your contribution to the book?
Yeah, well, I talk about the power of saying yes. I start, and you'll have to go in read my chapter, but I talk about how when I was 25 years old and I was sitting in church one Sunday, and the pastor asked if that they were mentioned that they were looking for a Sunday school teacher. I had never taught. I always loved kids, but I I wasn't a teacher, and I had no religious background. I I didn't even know any stories in the Bible, but I had this nagging voice in the back of my head telling me to teach. And so I went to him and said, I want to teach Sunday school. And that kind of started that saying yes to that kind of started the ripple effect that we talk about. And that led to then me leading a youth group years later. And that led to me taking a course on how to speak in front of people uh, and writing sermons and getting up and speaking. And that led to me saying yes to my very first collaboration book and now working for the publishing company. So those yeses, the power of saying yes to that inner voice, that inner thing that tells you to do something, even when you think maybe you're not qualified to do it, uh, in stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing things that scare you a little bit is what's going to cause those ripple effects in your life, and it's what's going to make your life more fun and interesting, I think.
Wow, for sure. And also shows others that, saying yes to possibilities does open a lot of new doors, right? And it may not always be, 100% what you're looking for, but then you say yes to another opportunity and it might be exactly what you're looking for. Sometimes it takes a few tries. I know it's happened to me a few times, but eventually you're like, you align 100% with something. It's like, that's it, that's the one thing I really want to do. So I totally understand. So that's so beautiful. Thank you. On personal growth, how has writing for this book impacted you personally and professionally?
Yeah, well, this whole writing journey has been just that. It's been a journey. It's been a growth process for me. It's been a chance for me to step out of fear and to do things that, I want to say before I started writing, um, I would have quit a lot of things. And so that act of being almost defiant and saying, you know what, this is hard. I'm doing a lot of hard things, but I'm not gonna quit, has been kind of a driving force in going forward. And so this active writing and writing these chapters in these books have really propelled me forward and have helped me to grow as a person and to, to grow my audience, to have people uh, and have that authority, I guess, in what I do, because I'm a published author. People kind of look up to you. You have that title now, as you're a published author, and people want to have you on their podcasts, right? They want to have you on their shows, they want to have you speaking at events. You can go and do book signings, you can go and do a lot of things where you're talking to people and introduce yourself as a writer and an author. And I think that has a lot that elevates you to a certain point. And so I really enjoy being part of these books and the authority that gives you.
Awesome. Beautiful. That kind of answers my next question. So we'll go to the next one. Can you share another story with us or something from this one from your experience that had a significant impact on someone's life?
Well, I can share, when I started a youth group back in 2006 when my daughter was in 6th grade. And we started with 9 children, and they were all like middle school age. And the woman that I was doing it with, she was like, I don't know about doing middle schoolers. They're really, really hard. Are you sure we want to do middle school? And I was like, I just really felt that we needed to work with this age group. And we went from 9 kids uh, the first year to over 50 kids by the third year, all coming to, to, I want to say, to learn about God, but it was more that they were coming for healing and for growth. And a lot of them had been going through stuff. And so me saying yes to that really affected these kids. We had kids who were grappling with suicide and had friends who had committed suicide. Their parents were getting divorced, and they were coming together, and it was just such a trying time, and it was so difficult at times. But there were weeks when I walked away from there saying, we changed these kids' lives. So, uh, you say yes to one thing and things happen, um, and it it changes the life of somebody else, maybe without you even knowing it.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes you just don't know. Like I remember when I went with World Vision Canada in 2005 to El Salvador, and I went there because I really wanted to see what it's like and help and build homes. At that time, I didn't know, but it was part of the project. And I went there and just seeing the communities and the children and the smiles, it really does something to you, inside. And here we're going thinking, oh, we'll change their lives, but they're also changing our lives, in ways we sometimes don't realize right away. It could take months sometimes, And I remember this one girl, Edith, and I sponsored her right on the spot. I was so like inspired and, in the moment. And you just take it at its best and go with it. You just flow with it naturally, right? And you just never know where it's going to take you, the journey. And I always thought, I was like, what can I do, in life that I can help others, and I sat on it for, I think, over a decade. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? So all of a sudden the opportunity came up because I was ready for it. I became a coach and now write for collaboration books. And even though I'm like, oh, maybe sitting there, no, actually people are picking up, reading it. You may never find out how much it's affected them or impacted them, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's out there and it's helping people. And sometimes, that's better than anything else out there. So I feel we are so, so lucky to be able to do this and spread the ripple all over the world, not just in one little corner. It goes beyond that, right? So,
Yeah. And I love that because it's not just it is the ripple effect, and it's something that you did back years ago that is still affecting people today. And that that child, because of what you did to have them in a better house, had lived a better life. And so there is that ripple effect that maybe you don't even think about, you don't even know about. Um, you smile at someone in the store and who's having a really bad day, and they walk away from that feeling a little bit better. And so there are ripple effects of your actions that affect other people. And sometimes you don't even realize the effect that you have, or the what it is that you've helped someone else to get through.
Exactly. Yeah. Same with the kids, like today you help them and later on they'll remember. I was like, I remember that lady, Sally, she helped me. Now I'm gonna pay it forward, right? So you just don't know how far it's gonna go. That's amazing. What advice would you give to someone who wants to write and create a meaningful impact?
Yeah, writing has always, for me, I've always been a writer, and I know I talked to Linda, who's the our our CEO, a lot, and she was never a writer. And so it's funny the way that life works. I want to say, but um I would say, to just, if you have a love for writing, to just write. And it doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, a lot of times it's not perfect, and a lot of times you can just sit down and write things just to get them out of your head. If you're struggling with something, just grab a pen and a piece of paper and just write it out, everything that's in your head, everything you're thinking about, everything you're going through. And just the act of writing it kind of helps. You don't even have to show it to anybody. You don't have to publish it. You can just wrinkle it up and shred it up and throw it away. Uh, but the act of getting it out of your head and onto paper has an effect on you. So I would say, get it out, and if it's good, and it's a great story, and it's something that you want to share, then reach out to me. I would love to publish you in one of our books.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Like sometimes you never know. You write something and then you look at it and it's like, wow, that is actually good. And then you never know where it'll take you. Hey, could be next big movie, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny, I've been part of a lot of these books, and every time I write a chapter, I'm like, "Wow, that was the best chapter I've written," and, and then I write the next one, and like, "That one's even better than the last one. I love this story that I wrote," so, you get better as you practice, you get better as you keep doing it. So, at the beginning, my stories and the way that I wrote was a lot different, and I've perfected it over the last, 3 plus years that I've been doing this. And so that's another thing is, that practice and helps you to get those creative juices flowing and helps you to start writing better.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like a deer in the headlights when I did my first one. I'm like, oh gosh, I read it, I'm like, oh, and then the second one was okay, I posted a little bit better. The third one's like, I think I'm getting this. This is good, I'm getting better at it. So of course, the more you do something, the more you're gonna get better naturally, right? And yeah, just go out there and do it, right? Do you have any daily practices or routines to help you stay focused and motivated?
Yeah, I have a morning meditation that I do every morning, and I do this at bed before I even get out of bed. Is I sit there and visually go through my day, and I say my prayers, and then usually I'll pick up my phone and I'll go through and do a little bit of reading. But I think that act of visualizing the day and um, is it helps me to get through the day, because I'll know, okay, that I have these meetings today, and this is what I'm going to do, and I need to have all of this done, and I'm going to do this first and this first, and I go through like this little my whole day in my head before I even get out of bed. So I visualize what's going to happen before it happens, and that helps me to number one, plan my day, and number two, it helps me to see any pitfalls or anything, any stumbling blocks. And it doesn't always go as planned in my head. There are times things that come up unexpected, that happen. um, but I love doing that, and that's something that I started doing during COVID, as a way of just helping with my mental health and helping me to cope what was going on. um, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So it's that active visualization and meditation and prayer that I do each morning.
That's amazing. That's such great insights. Thank you. Are there any upcoming projects, and I'm sure there are, or books you're working on that you'd like to share with us a little bit today?
Yeah, actually, we have quite a few books in the works that are coming out. We have one on holistic healing. We have one that you're doing with the travel. We have one on divorce. We have one on confidence. We have a couple that we're doing, and we just published a book called "The Book I Read," which are books that have changed your lives. What's the story of a book that changed your life? And that's we're going to be having a volume three of that and looking for authors for that. So there's always I always have something in the
Mm.
hopper. We're doing a membership where we're going to be helping people to monetize their books and teaching them how to get get money from writing. And so we'll be doing that starting another month or so.
Wow, so something always on the go. I love that. I love that. Gotta stay focused and keep continuing and being that ripple effect, right?
Exactly.
How do you personally define success, and has that definition evolved over the time?
I think success is just getting up every morning and having a good attitude. I mean, and being grateful for the things that you have, having an attitude of gratitude. And I think that a lot of people feel that they're not successful when they are. So, um, I don't like to think about like even myself as being successful or unsuccessful. I'm kind of just getting through today. It's living in the moment, getting through today and figuring out, okay, where do I want my future to go, and how can I get there? What do I need to do to make myself happy today and to help others along the way and pull them up? So I think being having a mentor and being a mentor, um, having having a being grateful for the life that you had, and then that's all what success means to me. Having my family with me, and that kind of stuff. It has nothing to do with the amount of money that's in your bank account, or the celebrities or groups that you hang out with. It's all about the people that are close to you, that you choose to love, and who love you.
Wow, that's truly beautiful and so authentic. I love that. And exactly, live in the moment because that's all we have right now, right? And of
Yeah.
course, we do plan for the future, we look back, but ground yourself in the moment and live your best life, right?
Yeah.
So our podcast is called Rise and Thrive: Mornings with Intention. What does this title evoke for you? And how do you see the importance of starting the day with intention? You kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, but let's wrap it
Yeah,
up nicely.
I love the whole rise and thrive concept, and that's kind of what I did back 3 or 4 years ago when I had pretty much hit rock bottom, and I was in a really bad place emotionally, physically, and I just made a decision that I was going to start taking care of myself. And so I started eating healthier and and taking online classes and that kind of stuff. And that's what led me into the writing and the book publishing. But it was that rise and thrive. I was going to stand up. I wasn't, I knew that if I had stayed in the state that I was in mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, that I would get to a point probably very soon that I wouldn't be able to pull myself out of. And so I had to stop myself and I had to say, you know what, I need to rise, right? I need to do something different because what I'm doing isn't getting me anywhere. And I made that decision. So it comes down to, stopping, realizing where you are, making that decision and rising and taking action. rise could be just the same as take action, right? Do something different than what you're doing. Start eating healthier. I turned off the TV. I blocked every single news station from my phone. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to hear anything negative right now. I just need all this. I need positive energy. And so I started taking online classes. I got into with some amazing, amazing people online and started showing up at their masterminds and started taking courses from them. And that changed my life. And so it was that act of rising and thriving and saying, you know what, I want to do something different and I'm going to do something different and taking the action and doing it.
That is so beautiful the way you said that, because and it's funny because I kind of did the same thing like 3 years ago, 2021. I took Bob Proctor's coaching. And then I told myself too, like, you know what? If I want things to change, I got to do something about it. And I also like people laugh at me sometimes, but it's like, that's their opinion. But I also like, I used to watch TV like so much, like, oh, this show, that. And then all of a sudden it was like a 180. I said, no, I'm not watching TV, and I think I watch TV maybe once a week because, it's not about that, I still pay attention to what's going on, but it's more important for me to join mastermind groups in my circle, the people that have similar mindset, because I want to go out there, thrive, do things like even 3 years ago. Did I ever think I was gonna be international bestselling author? Not once, but twice already. No. Did I think I was gonna be no, like I didn't know, but I stopped and I made the decision that going forward I want to do so much more. I've always been a go-getter, but it was more of traveling, doing other things. And then, first time I kind of went into deep personal development on a deeper level and going out there and doing what I truly want. So I think it's so important to, I mean, it doesn't have to be a forever thing. We still, you need to know what the weather is going to be like, all that. But I value my life much more nowadays than I think I ever did before. And joining those groups, the masterminds, people with similar interests, I think it's so, so important because this is what propels us to grow even more and go after our dreams and do so much more because life is so short. Like, like you blink and it's like, where'd the 5 years go? Where'd the 10 year go? Right. So I feel that is really important. So, thank you so much, Sally, for sharing. This was truly amazing and uplifting. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing I want to say is, and I kept thinking about this when you talked about being in the collaboration books. One of the things I like to say is that these multi-author collaboration books and being part of this world is like opening a bag of potato chips. You can't stop at just one. You get
Yeah,
so
I loved that.
sharing your story and putting it out there that you want to just keep doing it again and again and again. So
Yeah, I laughed at that when Linda said it in the first couple Zooms I was on, and then I was hooked before I knew it. So yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. All the information about Sally, her biography, and how to get in touch with her will be all posted in the video. We'll have definitely more podcasts coming up down the road, so stay tuned. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. And Sally, thank you so much for being here with me today. And everybody else there, I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
thank you.